We honor the officers who selflessly defended members of Congress and others inside the Capitol that day. Our efforts are with the loved ones who are grieving for the 5 officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty as a result of what happened to them on January 6th. We must never forget the terrible violence inflicted on law enforcement officers on January 6th.
That was Attorney General Merrick Garland reminding our nation of the toll that the attack at the Capitol took on law enforcement officers who were serving that day. Here's how former U.S. Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Gonell described his injuries before the January 6th Select Committee.
I sustained injuries on both my hands, my left shoulder, my left calf, and my right foot. I already had undergone bone fusion surgery on my right foot, and I was just told that I need surgery on my left shoulder. What we were subjected that day was like something from a medieval battle. We fought hand to hand, inch by inch, to prevent an invasion of the Capitol by a violent mob intent on subverting our democratic process.
That's right, something from a medieval battle in 2021. Sergeant Aquilino Gonell joins me now. He is the author of the book American Shield, The Immigrant Sergeant Who Defended Democracy. Sergeant Gonell, thank you so much for being here. The president quoted you yesterday in his remarks. You were the Capitol Police officer that he was talking about. We were chatting before we came on air, and I asked you, do the videos still affect you, seeing and watching it? I'm wondering how you're feeling today.
It has moments where I had to take a pause and reflect on what happened, especially on a day like today, when you are bombarded by praises and also accusation about certain things that did or did not happen. But those accusations and things like that, a lot of those things come from people who condone the violence or people who took part in the violence. And had it been any other group, I'm sure that they'll be praising me instead of accusing me of certain things. I was glad that the president quoted me yesterday. This is probably the 3rd time that he had done so. I'm very grateful for that. But that is the sentiment that I was feeling at that time. That is how I felt at that time in the tunnel, fighting the mob not for a minute or two, but for hours. We were battling, trying to defend our democracy and the member of Congress, who some of them, to my disbelief, 3 years now, away from that moment, they seem to forget that how fearful they were for their lives. And the only reason why they were able to escape was because the action that we took, like myself and my colleagues. You have Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, now saying that when he was thinking about releasing the footages of January 6th, that they need to blur out the faces of the people who were assaulting the police officers, people who were violently breaching the Capitol, people who assault us. And in the same breath, in the same sentence, he says, we are the party of law and order, the rule of law. We want accountability. But we want to blur out the faces because we don't want the Justice Department to identify and prosecute those people. It's insane and a betrayal to the oath.
You talk a lot about your fellow officers. Some have died by suicide because of what happened that day. And you talk about Mike Johnson and the blurring of the video, egregious. Are you and your fellow officers, are you upset, disappointed by what you continue to see from some members of Congress and the former president?
At that point, I had been out of the Capitol. I separated due to my injuries, both mental, physical, and also the moral injury. I used to sit in my car before going in the morning, trying to figure out whether I should go back to the scene of crime. And part of the triggers that I used to get, or I still do, is every single day that I was working in the aftermath of January 6th, I had to figure out if something else were to happen, would the Republican elected official will have my back? can I count on them to have my back if there's another threat coming in? Not only did I have to worry about the threats in front of me, but now I had to figure out whether I could trust them behind me, because they do not support the police officer when they continue to say that these people are patriots, these people are hostages, these people are innocent. It's insane, and this disgrace is a desecration to our sacrifices, because they would not have escaped the violence on January 6th had it not been because the actions of what we did. And as I mentioned in my book, American Shield, it's a betrayal to their oath. It's a betrayal to me. And they could fill their mouth about all these things that they say that they support the police. Their action has shown that they do not. And I think a lot of the officers probably feel the same way. I was glad that I was able to leave the Capitol, because that was continue to trigger me and now allowing me to heal properly.
Officer Cannell, Sergeant Cannell, I am grateful for your service, but also your willingness to speak out and come forward, because your testimony before the January 6th Select Committee made a difference, and your book and your words here today make a difference. And I'm just so grateful for you, and so thankful that you came in. Thank
you. I hope that my small actions on January 6th, hopefully it's not in vain. And I do want people to know what happened to me, and I hope that you get to read my book, and everybody else as well, to that way they get to know the character and all the sacrifices that I've done, both in the military and also as a police officer. Thank you.
A patriot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.